Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Chris. It is the end of the first week of August, and I think I'm gonna spend a large part of August going over like perfumes that share the same note. Now these aren't always the most popular videos, but I like to do them because I think it's a good idea, particularly if you have a large collection, to take a step back, look at your perfume collection, see what it is that you're wearing, and let go of fragrances, or potentially let go of fragrances that I am not wearing. So at the end of the video, I'm going to decide which fragrances, if any, are leaving, what fragrances do I still have that are on my wish list that share the same note, and is my wish list going to change at the end of the overview. So to make this video, strawberry had to be a very prominent note. Not necessarily the main note, but it had to be one of the main notes. Okay, I think I've counted 12 fragrances, and with that, let's just get started. And I'm gonna get started with a fragrance that I have been neglecting this summer. It is Soleil Passion by Micallef. I think the reason I've been neglecting this is because I've been wearing the heck out of Eau Feminine. I'm in my orange blossom phase. I've really been turning to my orange blossom fragrances and other florals this summer, and so this little beauty has been neglected. So this is one of two perfumes that I own that has a prominent note of pomegranate. So this has pomegranate, this has strawberries, musk, some salty notes, some watery florals. So to me, I've always thought that this smelled like a fancy spa water, like a sparkling seltzer, and you have maybe some sliced strawberries, some pomegranate seeds, maybe just a little bit of orange, and you rim the glass with a little bit of salt, and maybe you added a decorative water lily on top. That just kind of encapsulates this fragrance. It does have a saltiness to it, and it's probably from ambergris or the type of musk that's in here. So I will admit that this is not super strawberry forward, but I definitely can pick up a hint of strawberry in the mix with, with that pomegranate, sliced orange, and that kind of bubbly, sparkly, slightly salty seltzer water. So Soleil Passion. All right, so the next one is a fun one, and it is called Sugarful in this bottle that is a little bit kitschy, and it's not very sturdy. It has a little boo-boo on it, but doesn't take away from the scent, which is to me, it is a strawberry cotton candy with a little splash of maybe an orange shampoo in the mix. So it's fun, it's sweet. It definitely has a strawberry cotton candy sweetness. It does have a vanillic sweetness, but again, just a slight hint. I think there is orange in here, and it smells like an orange shampoo. Goes really, really nicely with the vanillic cotton candy and some very soft underlying florals. This one has really good lasting power, particularly if you put it on your clothes. It will last over 24 hours, and it is quite reasonable in price. Another one that I picked up this summer, and I am loving these sniff releases. This is called Rouge Era, and let me tell you, these little perfumes, they travel so well. You just pop them in your bag and pull them out. I just love them. I've been loving this one and Cocoa Shimmy. So Rouge Era has actually been a really, really good summer scent for me. It is a fresh, dewy rose with some strawberry and pear. It's very, very likable. It's clean and fresh, but not being screechy. It doesn't have a ton of citruses at all, so it doesn't smell like a cleaning product. For those of you who typically don't like citruses, it doesn't have any of that screechy freshness, but it still remains fresh. In the dry down, it resembles like a laundry detergent or a dryer sheet, but still being true to the rose composition, the strawberry, and then I get a little bit of that pear in the background. It does wear on the lighter side, and this is a perfume that I have worn to work because it wears lightly, it wears softly, it is not overwhelming to those around you, and since it's so nice, it travels well. I just pop it in my bag. If I want to refresh during the middle of the day, I can just respritz midday, and I'm good to go for the rest of the afternoon. It does have a little bit of a Delina La Rose vibe. This one has less peony, or doesn't have any peony at all. It doesn't have those watery notes. The pear in this one is a little bit bumped up. And this one has strawberry, and Delina La Rose does not have any strawberry, but they're in, you know, they would be in the same ballpark. They're both very likable. I find them quite lovely for the summer, and this one is easier on the pocketbook. Speaking of being easy on the pocketbook, I'm gonna show this one again. This is Kate Spade New York. I picked this up after smelling it on a coworker and asking what it was, and she told me, and I picked it up. I picked this bottle up for somewhere in between $30 and $40, and it is a 100 ml bottle. So Kate Spade New York is very similar to Burberry for Her, or Burberry Her, the EDT, and they share a lot of the same notes, and they open very similarly. Kate Spade New York is really a fresh, citrusy, rose, strawberry scent with a little bit of peony. I think it has a little bit of pear, maybe even a little bit of black currant. And so it's very, very similar to Burberry Her, again, the EDT. But the differences are really in the dry down. This one goes a lot, this actually kind of turns, becomes a little bit different of a perfume. It becomes warmer because of that. There's cashmere in here. So it's got cashmere and some woody notes. So it's more cocooning and more appropriate, perhaps year round. Definitely I would consider wearing this in the wintertime, where I would not consider wearing, or I typically don't wear Burberry Her, the EDT in the winter. It's just a spring, summer, you know, more warmer weather scent. That one is more sparkly, it's more effervescent, it has more pear, and it has kind of a little champagne vibe. This one does not. This one, again, has a little bit more of a cocooning quality to it. Another one that wears lightly, and I have worn it to work, and it's, you know, quite lovely. Another one is one that I didn't like it, or I wasn't considering buying a full bottle the first time I tried it, and it is called Chantilly by Gritti. Now, about a year ago, I think I told the story, I was taking a child to college. I was very devastated. It was very, very hot, and the weekend was kind of miserable. And the two perfumes I took with me were 9 ml decants of Chantilly and THOO. And I don't know what it was, but I just didn't have good memories with either of those fragrances. I ended up taking both of those 9 ml decants and passing them along. And it wasn't until much later in the year, actually it was this year, that I gave them another try. And I actually really, well, I hadn't tried THOO again. I've tried THOO Blanc instead, and I gave Chantilly another chance, and I really, really liked it. I had much different memories this go around. So it was at that point I thought, okay, it's worth a full bottle. So it's a very powdery perfume. It has strawberry, it has coconut, lots of that Gritti musk and some fresher notes. So it's very, very clean and fresh, but it's not quite shampoo-y, and it's not soapy. It's not screechy, it's not headache inducing. And the Gritti musk is one of the few musks that can be very, very prominent and strong, and is not, I don't find it overwhelming like the musk in other fragrances. And I'm thinking, you know, like Herba Pura, that kind of thing. Another one that I have worn to work, I've actually taken this full bottle and let some of my colleagues wear it, and this was a big hit. They were in love with it. So it wears nicely, like a little, you know, I have to call it a moderate, it's moderate scent bubble, moderate longevity. It's a good one. So another really pretty rose strawberry perfume is one I've had for I think 2 years now, and is by Tomavicci, and is called Empyrean, Empyrean. So in addition to the rose strawberry, this one also has peony. So it's going to put you in the ballpark of a Delina. It smells similar to Delina, but it doesn't have, you know, that heavy rhubarb. I mean, it does kind of remind me of a couple other fragrances. So again, you've got this little bit of a Delina vibe going on, minus a rhubarb, and in the dry down, it resembles a little bit like Atomic Rose, but without the pink pepper and without that really deep vanillic ambery dry down. So if you like those fragrances, more than likely you're going to like this one. It's a really nice, sparkly, kind of an effervescent, bubbly fragrance, but it doesn't have the note or a champagne accord. And it's different from Delina, and it's different from Atomic Rose, particularly in the dry down, because this one gets a lot more woody. You know, so a really, really pretty rose, peony, strawberry combo. Okay, the next one is another new one I picked up this year, Guilty Crush, one of the very few successful blind buys that I've had. Most of my blind buys, at least as of late, have been a disaster. This one was a nice surprise. So this has wild strawberry, it has a lipstick accord, it's got some really dark cherry, some powdery notes, maybe a little bit of raspberry, definitely some nice vanilla in here, musk. So that lipstick accord gives it a little bit of a waxiness, but it's not overly waxy. I would say it's mildly waxy, and it does get more powdery in the dry down. Guilty Crush also has a really nice rose in the background, and I think what you're going to see is that there's a lot of these fragrances that have rose in the mix, because I think rose pairs really nicely with strawberry. They just seem to go kind of hand in hand. So this one, as it dries down, it gets more vanillic, it gets more ambery, it gets more powdery. It's just fun and sweet and whimsical, a little bit waxy. You've got that nice strawberry cherry thing. It's just fun and happiness in a bottle with a nice little splash of rose. Another one is a fragrance that I love to wear in the summertime. It's Candy No. 4 by Thomas Kosmala. I don't know if strawberries in particular are specifically mentioned in the notes, but there's definitely red fruits in here. Cherries, I would say strawberries, you know, definitely strawberries, maybe a little bit of raspberry. It has cotton candy. It's nice and airy and fluffy and light with a little bit of sugary sweetness, a very, very light caramel. I mean, I tell you, if you look at the notes on paper, you think this is going to be a really heavy perfume, and it is not. It is one of these fragrances that has a lot of gourmand elements, but it has a lightness to it, it has a brightness to it, it has a freshness to it, and all those notes are offset by a subtle, very light kind of a spun cotton candy and a nice soft caramel in the background. This is sweet, but it's tart at the same time, and it works so, so well in the heat. For whatever reason, when it's hot outside, that's really when I want to pull for this. Even though it is a really good year-round fragrance, I love to wear it in the heat, and it's refreshing and light and fun and tart and sweet and vanillic at the same time, but never overwhelming. And when you want to wear light, fresh, you know, fruity gourmand in the summer, this one is great. So the next one was a big surprise for me. It is Mula Rouge Extreme, and this is a fragrance that has a fairly recognizable oud. Oud is not always my favorite note. I do not like it at all when it's skanky and animalic. I just can't take it at all. I don't care what else is in the perfume. It's a no-no for me. However, even though the oud is recognizable, it does not go into that skanky or animalic zone, and it is paired so nicely with strawberry and caramel. So this is basically a caramel strawberry oud fragrance. It has other things in the mix. It has other deep, dark, you know, rich red berries. It's got cherries, and I want to say at least raspberry as well. I'm really hard pressed to come up with another fruity oud perfume that I enjoy more. In fact, I just don't think there is one. I think this is my absolute favorite. So it's really a dry fruity wood with caramel sweetness, and of course the prominent fruit is strawberry. Now the interesting thing is there's a lot of heavy notes in here, but it's not a super heavy perfume. It wears on the lighter side, and I would say I would expect this one to be like 12 hours plus, and it's not. I would say it has moderate longevity, but it is my favorite fruity oud for sure. So the next one should be an absolute no for me, at least on paper, and I sampled it first before I got it, and it is called August Picnic by DSH, or Don Spencer Horowitz. So basically this is a very, very green, grassy fragrance with rhubarb and strawberry. Now, I cannot believe I bought a perfume that has such a strong, prominent, grassy accord, and the grass and grassy notes are very, very prominent in here. And there's a greenness here also from the rhubarb. Rhubarb can be very green in my opinion, particularly when it's not, you know, super ripe. So this is definitely like you're out having a picnic in the summertime, definitely summer. There's something very summer about this, maybe spring, and you're sitting down in the grass and you're surrounded by grass and you're eating, you know, fresh strawberries and maybe eating like slices of a rhubarb pie. So it's very, very fresh, very green, a little bit sour, a little bit citrusy, and it does have a lightness to it, and it wears lightly. This is not gonna last you all day. You're going to want to respritz. Okay, the next one is a perfume I never talk about and I never wear. And it's not that I hate it, I actually really like it, but I just don't pull for it. It is called Indecent Cherry. It is one of my 10 billion cherry fragrances. I really enjoy the note of cherry, and this is for my cherry lovers. It's a cherry forward fragrance, but strawberry is, I think, you know, like the second most prominent note, so that's why this made the video. So cherry, strawberry, almond, it's vanillic, it's boozy, it's very syrupy, very sweet. I mean, you really do have to like your cherry, you have to be a big fan of cherry fragrances, and you have to like them on the very sweet side, the boozy side, and the syrupy side. So even though, you know, cherry is by far the most prominent note, I definitely pick up a strawberry, and the strawberry I get more, I get it in the opening, but I also get it in the mid and the early dry down. It's not a beast, and it's not a skin scent either. I would say it's somewhere in the middle. And the last one I'm going to talk about is one I have this little vial of. It's Loubidoo by Christian Louboutin. So this is another rose strawberry combo. Now, do I get strawberry per se? I mean, yes, I can imagine it. It just smells more like really lovely red fruits. So a non-tart red fruit, red berry, rose combination that is on the linear side, and it's a fairly simple fragrance, but it is gorgeous in its simplicity. And, you know, it dries down. It has a really nice woody base. It's cedar, but it's not overly wood chippy. It's just absolutely lovely. And before I filmed this video, this perfume was on my wish list. It is pricey, and it does remind me of, I would put this in the ballpark. It's similar to, or it reminds me of Chloe, the original Chloe, but it's a lot less musky. It's more woody, and it's more rosy, and it has a much prettier rose. So that was it. I had one more. I was going to show this one, Juice, but Juice really has more of a prominent rhubarb than strawberry, so I'll use that. I'll talk about that in another video. So that was it, my strawberry prominent fragrances. So after seeing what I have going through them, am I going to get rid of any? Am I going to thin the herd? And the answer is yes. I'm going to pass my cute August picnic along. I have a coworker who really loves this. I wore this one day. It's one of my pickiest coworkers. The coworker that says I always smell like a grandma or grandpa, boy, she loves this one. So Cheyenne doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to pass this fragrance along to her. And I think I'm also, I can't believe I'm going to say this, I think I'm going to say goodbye to Indecent Cherry, not because I don't enjoy it. I think it's a really good, delicious, very boozy, sweet, syrupy cherry strawberry fragrance. I can't remember the last time I wore it. So these two are going to be going goodbye. Before I did this video, this one right here, Loubidoo, was on my wish list. Now, after thinking about it and seeing what I have, and seeing that I have several fragrances that I really enjoy with a prominent note of strawberry, I don't think I'm going to be splurging for the bottle because it is quite expensive. It's beautiful, at least for now. For now, Loubidoo will not be joining my collection. So that was it. Fragrances that I have in my collection with a prominent note of strawberry. Before I go, if you're still with me, we would all love to hear about your favorite strawberry fragrance in the comments below, particularly if I didn't mention it. So thanks again for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who always shows up, gives me a like, leaves me a nice comment, and subscribes to my channel. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.